Right, so it is day 157 as far as I know of 2023, but it is going to be day 141 and 142 of my tree planting. And the second one will probably have to be put by torchlight because the sun is coming down fast. I've also managed to spill water on myself in a very unfortunate way, but let's get on with it anyway. So today's planting is going into an area where I really don't want people walking through because there is supposed to be a pathway through this hedge, and all the little plants I planted here have been trampled and trampled and trampled and trampled because people keep deciding this is an easier path to go through. There is like 5 meters further up an actual break in the hedge, which I do keep cut so people can get to the guava trees, and people are not using it. So I'm going to put something that makes it hard to ignore. So we're going to be adding a little Yucca gigantea here. I wouldn't usually put rubble around the base of these because they are pretty hardy and do regenerate pretty well from damage. This has actually only been watered twice since it was cut and put into this bag. So you can see how well it has rooted from that. But to make sure this is extra prickly while it's still small and a little bit susceptible to trampling, we're going to be putting in a couple of pieces of Alocameroni and a couple of pieces of Euphorbia mili, which should add to the nice prickly barrier. They should also flower really well and bring a lot of little pollinators to the area. And then just to add a final little bit of flowering interest, we're going to be putting in Gloriosa superba bulb. Hopefully that will grow here. This is a native wildflower. It's really very pretty. I'm going to put a picture up on the screen so you can see what it looks like. And that should climb up these plants and flower among them, which should be really nice. Eventually the yucca will get too tall for that to climb up, but it will be climbing up the aloes and the euphorbias quite merrily, hopefully. Right, so that isn't everything for today because there is about to be another tree, so carry on watching. It will be in the dark if you are into that sort of thing. Otherwise, thank you for watching this far. So to sort of go in for day 142's would have been planting, we're going to be blocking off another little opening that shouldn't have been an opening. So here we have a little shaded dry garden that I've been sort of neglecting quite a lot, but there was a Dracaena studinary was blocking a gap beside a log which has some orchids and some succulents growing on it, and unfortunately some molerats decided they'd have a nibble on that, so we'll be replacing it with something that should still give a similar sort of light shade, so it shouldn't overshade a lot of the succulents around this area in the longer run, but it should give that sort of permanent light softening of the light to just mean they need a little less water without actually making them suffer too much. So this was sold as a king palm. I'll be putting what I think that is up on the screen, but I can't guarantee that because this is one from a roadside nursery, so it's always a little bit sort of pot luck with that, and also common names can mean a few different things. But then we're going to be putting in a couple of little succulents with that, which should form a nice little sort of ornamental surround and also sort of add to the sort of hedge value, so it becomes clear this isn't a sort of stepping over point, this is just a continuation of the siding. So we're going to be putting in an aloe jacunda, which is a rather small but very ornamental aloe. It's very drought tolerant, but tends to get lost if it's in open areas because it tends to get sort of overgrown. So I'm hoping that in a shaded area where the grass doesn't get as long, it should be a lot easier to keep track of and not accidentally chop down while chopping the grass back. We're also going to be putting in Archocaria afra. This can turn tree-sized in its own right. This is the specboom, but it is going to be kept as a shrub here. So that really should be it for today, well, tonight. So please tune in again tomorrow when I will be planting day 143 and 144, and we'll see how that goes.